Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's do this thing. In three, two, one. Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Oh geez. Oh man. It's the Erin Marvin Show, episode 7. Welcome back, everybody. It's so good to see you again. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Just kidding. It's been a little over a month. But I'm sorry, I'm back. We're back with episode 7. I'm very excited to talk to everybody today. I'm very sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting like all red and flustered because I'm so excited to record a new episode of the podcast. Seriously, I missed talking to everybody, all the Erin Marvin fans worldwide. Sorry for no episode for the last month. I've been very busy with work, but that's okay. It's been very good for me. I've been really enjoying it. Before we begin this podcast, I think we should all just take a couple deep breaths and just settle down. So if you want to join me for just to relax and find our place here, let's just take one inhale and out. Another one. Let's do another one. Inhale. All right. Sometimes I get really fired up when I press the record button, but that's all good. I just gotta reel it in, baby. All right, Erin Marvin Show, episode 7. Thanks for joining me again. Looks like all the cameras are rolling. We're good here. Let's do an episode. Really great to be talking to everybody again. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're out there. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you can make one and then subscribe. The Erin Marvin Show, we are on the road to 100 subscribers. I believe we're at around 60 right now at the recording of this episode. So let's get to 100, baby. You can be the first person, well, one of 100 people to be the first 100 people of the fans of this podcast, of the subscribers. I don't want to call you fans, but we're a family here. Got a big episode today. Oh, by the way, if you subscribe and you're a new subscriber and you don't have any Erin Marvin stickers, subscribe to the channel, send me an email, neil@erinmarvin.com, or send me a DM, and I will send you some official Erin Marvin stickers. This is the first run of Erin Marvin stickers that I had printed last year. I still got some stickers left, so let's mail out some stickers. New subscribers, or if you subscribed recently and you don't have any stickers yet, let me know and we'll get you some stickers. Send me your address. I'll mail those out to you. I would love to send you some stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? You know what I mean? All right, big episode today. Sorry for rambling, but I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been up to. I just got back from Nashville yesterday. I was in Nashville for a week. We're going to cover what I've been listening to. We're going to cover what I've been watching lately. And then brand new segment on the show today, EM's Top 5. More information on that a little bit later. But the first thing that I want to get into today is big news on the streets. Erin Marvin, Neil, he's single, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right. I'm single. I was dating somebody last year, and it's been a few weeks since we've broken up, and I wish her the best, and it was amazing and a great experience for me, but things just didn't quite work out, and it's a little bit, that's a personal thing, so I'm not going to touch on it too much. But anyways, I'm single again, so I'm back on the dating apps. Hinge and Tinder. I'm not doing Bumble right now, so I'm sticking on Hinge and Tinder, and it's been going all right. The dating apps is kind of an interesting thing. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It's good getting to know new people. One of the things that I've been doing is on my Hinge profile, one of my prompts is I ask, one thing I'd like to know about you. Would you go on a first date with me if the first date was me interviewing you on my podcast. And I've been getting a lot of inquiries. A lot of ladies seem to be interested in that. So who knows if I'm actually going to do that? We'll see. If you're watching, if you would be interested in me having some people on for a first date on the podcast, let me know if that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, or if that sounds extremely cringy. I think how that might be received is definitely somewhere in the middle there. It could go great, it could go bad, it could be entertaining, who knows. So I've been thinking about that. But yeah, dating, the apps can be kind of weird, and I kind of have, I seek dopamine. Definitely, gotta be honest, we all seek dopamine out there. So the dating apps is kind of like social media for me in a way, where I just gotta like keep refreshing it to see if there's anything new, any new little hit of dopamine, see if anybody likes me, see if anybody sends me a message. But, I'm trying to approach it with a level head. I've been going on a couple dates and they've been going good. Just trying to keep an even keel. I'm not trying to rush anything along. I'm not trying to really blow people away with my personality or anything like that. I just try to be myself. I just try to be a straight shooter. I'm not trying to be something I'm not, for sure. One thing that is interesting is on the last episode of the podcast, I said I won't. If I wear a flannel, that means I don't care. So now when I go on a date, I try not to wear a flannel. I did go on a date last night and I wore a flannel, but it was my nicest flannel. So I did care. So we'll see where it goes. It's an exciting time in my life. I've been traveling a lot, so that makes it hard to date. And, my career outside of the podcast and outside of recording new music, which is something I'm still working on. I know I keep saying new music coming soon, but it's a very personal and private process for me. So working on the new music. And basically what I'm trying to say is my career and my hobbies outside of my career are kind of at the forefront for me right now. Rushing into a new relationship is not something that I'm trying to do right now. So casual dating is cool. The dates that I did go on, we didn't kiss or anything. It was just a conversation and a good time, and maybe see you again. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm excited, and it's refreshing time in my life, and I'm just very hopeful. It was just Groundhog's Day, and old Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. So that means we got 6 more weeks of winter, but you can kind of feel spring is right around the corner, and that's something to look forward to. It's spring, it's the new life, and I'm just starting to feel very refreshed. It's been the new year, everything's been going good. Dry January went great for me. I actually finished Dry January successfully. I'll get into a little bit of that, how I broke Dry January on February 1st. And actually, the next topic that I wanted to talk about is last week I was in Nashville, and that was a great time. I was there for a work trip. Nashville is one of my favorite cities, honestly. If you've never been to Nashville, I suggest going at least once to check it out, especially if you like country music, especially if you like friendly people, if you like having a good time, if you like bar hopping, if you like warm weather, go in the summer or the fall, because last week it was actually pretty cold there. There was an ice storm. It was kind of in the 30s all week. It was icy, rainy, but I still had a blast. I went to the Bengals bar. There's a Bengals bar, Cincinnati Bengals. So all the Cincinnati Bengals fans were there to watch the AFC Championship Unfortunately, the Bengals lost. It's okay. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm sure you guys will be back in the AFC Championship again very soon. The Vikings, obviously, they got bounced in the first round, and I was over that loss quicker than a hiccup. I mean, it sucks. It sucks when your sports team loses, but at the end of the day, you just gotta realize it's just entertainment, and it's just a company that happens to be a sports team that happens to be playing in your local market. So you can enjoy it, yeah, like take the good out of it, but if you're so emotionally attached to your sports team that it's gonna ruin your life, it's time to reevaluate things. So I just want to say thank you, Vikings, for an amazing season. We'll be back next year, better than ever. Hopefully, we'll see where things go. But this was a very fun season. It was maybe my favorite Vikings season of my lifetime, right up there with the Brett Favre season, Brett Favre's first season with the Vikings, which was another amazing season. But yeah, it's gonna be great. And yeah, so the Bengals bar, that was awesome. That was in January, so I was at the bar with a bunch of Bengals fans, and I wasn't drinking, and that was fine. But then, February 1st, I hit up my buddy Bo, who is a singer, and he plays in bands, and he lives down in Nashville. And he was playing at Kid Rock's bar on February 1st. So I hit him up, and I went there, and I had a great time, had a few beers. And I just want to say shout out to Bo because I had a blast. It's always fun when I go down to Nashville. I've been there a handful of times. Every time I try to go, I try to see Bo and Trey. Trey was out of town, but I love to see my friends down in Nashville doing their thing, working on music. And honestly, they're one of the reasons that I'm inspired to make music of my own, even though I'm not a musician. I'm not classically trained in any of this, but you know, if you have something that you want to do in your life and you want to try it, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. That's all I can say. So it's really inspiring to go down there and see those guys doing their thing. I had a blast at Kid Rock's. If you've ever been down on Broadway, you know what that scene is like. Just a bunch of live music, a bunch of bar hopping, neon lights, the classic stuff down in Nashville. I went to Hattie B's Nashville hot chicken joint, and that was pretty good. It's definitely one of Nashville's tourist traps, I would say, but I had a good time there. You know, you have to wait in line a little bit because it's such a popular destination, but I had to check it off my bucket list. They have different levels of hot. It's basically like a Chick-fil-A, but with more southern sides, I would say. So they have different levels of heat to the sandwiches. I got the second hottest one, which was called Damn Hot. The hottest one is called Shut the Cluck Up. And I didn't want to spring for that, but the Damn Hot sandwich was pretty damn hot, I'll tell you that much. And it was borderline uncomfortable amount of heat, but I survived. I definitely had to take a cup of ice on the road with me and, suck on some ice to cool my mouth down. But it was delicious. I'm glad I checked that off my bucket list. Another thing I did while I was in Nashville, I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. And as a country music fan, that was awesome for me to see. I've only been listening to country music for about 6 or 7 years now. I went probably the first 21, 22 years of my life without ever giving country music a chance, which is kind of funny because I grew up in the country. But it was just one of those things that I just dismissed. I would say, oh, I like to listen to anything except for country, thinking that I was somehow high and mighty and I was too good for country music. Well, I'll tell you this much. I love country music. I can feel that country music in my soul. Those lyrics and those songs speak to me. So I'm very appreciative that in my adult life, I've come to appreciate country music. And I would say it's one of my favorite things in life right now, and has been for the last 6-7 years. Country music is beautiful. So I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Nashville is Music City, USA. A lot of country music gets made in Nashville. A lot of all genres of music gets made in Nashville. But I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame museum, and I had a great time. Me getting into country music, I was introduced mostly to the modern country music, which a lot of people really have strong feelings about and don't like, but I personally enjoy. I enjoy observing the music industry from just a marketing standpoint, a branding standpoint. And I think it's very interesting how, small town living and values can be marketed to the masses. So from a business standpoint, I really like modern country music, but the Hall of Fame, it was interesting to kind of fill in the gaps of the past of country music and see how things came to be to where they are now. So I had a great time there. I wrote down a list of some artists that I had never heard of because obviously I'm still new to country music, but I want to fill in the gaps of the history of it, all the old artists that paved the way for where we are today. I had a great time at the Country Music Hall of Fame. I suggest if you ever go to Nashville, check it out, especially if you like country music, you'll very much enjoy it. We got the big names. I believe Willie Nelson's in the Hall of Fame. You got Merle Haggard. You got Elvis Presley's in the Hall of Fame. Ray Charles is in the Hall of Fame. Brooks and Dunn's in the Hall of Fame. Dolly Parton's in the Hall of Fame. And a bunch of other names. So it was a really good experience. I feel very inspired to write some songs. And maybe one day you might even see Erin Marvin in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Sorry, that felt disrespectful that I even just said that. But I do love country music a lot, and I definitely want to experiment with some country music. So look out for that in the future. It was very humbling. So I do apologize for that comment I made about saying that you'll see Erin Marvin in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'll retract that statement. I have a long way to go before. I should probably learn guitar first, maybe, or piano or banjo or something like that before. Anyways, disregard any of that. But the Country Music Hall of Fame was amazing. I'm glad I went. All right, I want to move on to a new segment on the show. This segment, I've thought about doing a segment like this. And my best friend Chinsky, he hit me up and he said that I should do this. So that even reaffirmed this idea for me. So this segment is the segment that is going to put the Erin Marvin Show at the top of the podcasting world. This segment is called EM's Top 5. Every week now, I'm going to try to do a top 5 ranking of my favorites of any topic. So if you have any ideas of things you want me to rank a top 5 on, send your ideas, post them in the comments, or email neil@erinmarvin.com. Excuse me. So we have EM's top 5. This week on EM's top 5, we're going to look at the top 5 sub sandwich chains. I'm ranking the chains only. I'm not ranking the mom and pop sub chains. I'm sorry. Much love to all the mom and pop sub shops out there. Shout out to Bo Diddley's in St. Cloud. That's one of the first ones that comes to my mind. If you ever been to Bo Diddley's, you know that Bo Diddley's is delicious. But I'm just going to rank my top 5 sub sandwich chains. All right. Are you guys ready for this? Number 5. Subway. Subway is frowned upon by a lot of people. They don't really like Subway, but here's the reason that Subway makes my top 5 list. I had a job where I was driving a van around the country for a few years. It was a satellite truck, and I was driving around the country from gig to gig. I logged many miles on the interstate. I've probably driven damn near every interstate in this country. And food options are limited when you're traveling the interstate. I'll tell you that much. You got gas stations, you got McDonald's if you're lucky, but anytime that I would see a gas station with a Subway attached to it, that was like seeing a mirage in the desert. That was just an oasis for me. It was so beautiful. I could be in the middle of bum bleep nowhere in Nebraska, and there would be a Subway. I remember one time I was driving through Nebraska on Christmas Day, and the only thing that was open for miles and miles, hundreds of miles, was a Subway. So thank you, Subway. I'm not a picky eater, so Subway is fine for me, but it's obviously not the best. But Subway is old, reliable. So thank you, Subway, for being there for me for my hundreds and thousands of miles on the interstates. You were there for me. You are a slightly healthier option than buying gas station cheeseburgers. Subway, thank you very much. Number 5. All right, you ready for number 4? Number 4 is Jimmy John's. Very similar to Subway. A lot of people don't really care for Jimmy John's that much, but I'll say it's another one of those chains that's old, reliable. There's a lot of locations. It's quick. It's easy. You know exactly what to expect every time. And honestly, I'll say about Jimmy John's is I am a fan of their bread. I like the bread is kind of soft, but honestly, the outer shell of the bread, like the crust of it, is pretty hard. And for something about that I like. So shout out to Jimmy John's. It's readily available. It's fast. It's consistent. I like their chips. And all around, it's a pretty quick experience, free smells. I like to get the Club Lulu, the turkey and bacon with jalapeno Jimmy chips, maybe a Coke Zero if I'm drinking Coke. But on the last podcast, I haven't not drank pop this year, except for I did drink a Coke Zero at Hattie B's when I got my chicken sandwich. So I've had pop one time this year. I'm sorry. But number 4, Jimmy John's. Number 3, interesting pick here, number 3. But for number 3, I'm going with Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's is relatively newer to the Minnesota market, I would say, but I do like Jersey Mike's. It's interesting. They slice the meat in front of you, and if you get it, I think it's called Mike's Way. You get your sandwich Mike's Way, which I like to do. They put like olive oil on it or something, so sometimes that bun is kind of soggy, but it's good. And Jersey Mike's is a bigger sub, but it's good. It tastes quality and it's a good taste. So I would say it's a bump up above the Jimmy John's and the Subway. So I'm going with Jersey Mike's, number 3. All right, number 2. If anybody can guess, this might not be the most popular place with a lot of people, but might not be the most well known. But for number 2, I'm going with Firehouse Subs. First time I ever had Firehouse was when I was in college at St. Cloud State, and they opened up a Firehouse just a couple blocks from the house that I was living at, and we would ride our little skateboards there almost every day and get Firehouse Subs. They do a lot of stuff with like the firefighting community, and they like to donate money to local charities and stuff, so that's pretty cool. But you got to go, when you go to Firehouse, you have to go and eat it there. You can't get it to go, because what they do is they steam your sub. So the bun is soft, but it's it's soft, but if you don't eat it right away, it gets very soggy. So you have to eat it right away. Firehouse is delicious. I haven't eaten it a ton lately, but it gets the number 2 spot because of my fond memories of it in college. And I don't know if they do this since COVID was a thing, but they have like 50 different hot sauces just available for you to put into little cups and to put on your sandwich. So I thought that was a unique thing, to try a bunch of different hot sauces. That's definitely bumps it up on this list for me. I'll have to go again and see if they do that. I did go one time post-COVID, and they did not have the hot sauces out for people to try. Probably because, people are just fingering it up with their hands and stuff. But hopefully, that's a cool thing. That makes them unique. Hopefully they're doing that. They bring that back. But Firehouse Subs, number 2. All right. We are down. First of all, to recap. Number 5, Subway. Number 4, Jimmy John's. Number 3, Jersey Mike's. Number 2, Firehouse. Number 1 on EM's top 5 sub sandwich chains. Number 1, Potbelly's. What do you guys think about Potbelly's? Have you ever been there? I love Potbelly's. It's the top of my list. It's the perfect combination of all these chains I've been talking about so far. It tastes pretty fresh. They put the ingredients on the sub and they send it through the toaster right in front of you. They add all the ingredients. I love their peppers. They sell their peppers in a jar that you can buy and take home, and I definitely buy their peppers and bring it home. One of the places that I work at, there's a Potbelly's right next door, so I end up going to Potbelly's a lot, and it's a delicious sandwich. I like to get it's called a wreck. So I'll get a large wreck, and that's the name of the sandwich. And Potbelly's is just a delicious all-around sandwich, a great chain. I haven't been to too many locations, so I can't speak on their consistency, but it is a chain. So that is why Potbelly's sandwiches is number 1 on my list of sub sandwich chains. So that's been EM's top 5. This is the first installment of this segment. If you have any ideas for future top 5 segments, please leave a comment for categories that I could rank my top 5. Email me, neil@erinmarvin.com, and I hope to make this a new installment if people like it. I mean, I think this is a groundbreaking idea, top 5 lists. So, EM's top 5. Hope you guys enjoyed that new segment. All right, moving along, we're going to get into what I've been listening to lately. A few albums that I've been listening to lately that I think are really good. They're things I've been listening to that I've been enjoying. All right, so there's a country artist, kind of a country rock artist, I suppose, named Hardy, and he's got a new album out called The Mockingbird and the Crow, and I've really been enjoying that album. I would say it's a concept album in the fact that the first half of the album is country, and then the track that the album is named after, The Mockingbird and the Crow, is placed in the middle of the album. And then during that song, the first half of the song is country, and then the second half of the song, it flips to rock, and then the remaining half of the album is rock songs. So the front half is like more traditional sounding country music, and then it morphs into like a rock album. So I've really been enjoying that. I think that's unique and creative. Hardy is an amazing songwriter, and actually one of those moments in life where you just want to put your foot in your mouth and just shut up because you were so wrong. I used to be able to visit Nashville quite a bit, and there was this girl that I would hang out with while I was in Nashville, and she asked me, we were talking about country music, and she asked me what I thought about Hardy, because she's actually good friends with Hardy's wife. They just got married recently, Hardy did. And I said, at the time, Hardy only had one song on the radio, and I was like, he's all right. I think it's like kind of corny. Here's the deal. If you don't know what you're talking about, if you're not confident enough that you have enough information on something, don't even say your opinion, because I was so wrong about Hardy. I said that I thought he was corny, and I want to apologize to Hardy. I think you're a legend. I think you're an amazing songwriter, and please forgive my ignorance, because I was so wrong about that. I said, oh yeah, I don't like Hardy that much at all, but then I had to go back because this girl, very nice girl, she sent me Hicks tape, which was like a country mixtape that Hardy did, that he had a bunch of different country artists on. Amazing. I love it. Hardy had an album called A Rock, which was amazing. I love it. And now The Mockingbird and the Crow, he's been experimenting with some more rock sounding songs, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the artistry behind it, the songwriting, the creativity. So if you're a country fan, if you're a rock fan, I recommend Hardy. Another thing that I've been listening to, which was getting a lot of hype on the internet, on Twitter and other places in social media, was Lil Yachty's new album. It's called Let's Start Here. And if you know Lil Yachty's music, he's a rapper, but this album, he's exploring more of a different genre. This is kind of like a psychedelic rock album. And I've only listened to it once through, but I figured I would mention it because it's very interesting. And I like when artists are kind of known for one genre and they branch out and try different things. So I salute Lil Yachty for trying something different here. I'm going to have to listen to it more and see how I really feel about it, but I think it's very interesting. It's not a rap album for sure. It's more like psychedelic rock. His vocals over it are kind of interesting sounding. So if you're a Lil Yachty fan, or you know Lil Yachty, I would check this album out just to see what you think, because it's maybe not what you would expect from him, but it's been good. Something else I've been doing lately is, if you follow Erin Marvin on TikTok, that's at Erin Marvin 21. I've started a new video series where I gritty to my favorite country songs. And this is all about me just being my authentic self. I figure, when I'm alone in my kitchen, I'd like to dance around while I'm listening to music. So this is a way for me to dance to some of my favorite country songs and show people the type of stuff that I like to listen to while having fun and doing my thing. So, follow me on TikTok if you want to know more about the kind of country songs that I like to listen to. It's a series I'm going to have to continue. It's, this is insider information, but it's kind of in the comedy world, they call it a bit. So I'm going to commit to the bit and do the country songs that I gritty to. So check that out if you want to know more about the country music that I like to listen to. What I've been watching lately, speaking of comedy and speaking of bits, there's a show on YouTube. It's a video podcast. It's a live podcast. It's called Kill Tony. It's a comedian named Toady Hinchcliffe or something like that. And basically what he does, it's a comedy club in Austin, Texas. And he sits at a table on this stage, and he's got a co-host with him. And then he'll bring his other comedian friends on to co-host, and they draw names out of a bucket. And anybody who signed up that's at the comedy club that night, anybody in the crowd can come up and do a minute of stand-up comedy. And it's interesting because they'll draw a name out of a bucket, and it'll be like people who have only done stand-up for their first time. Sometimes it's people who have done stand-up for a few years. Sometimes it's people who have done stand-up for many years. So it's interesting to see the different people who sign up to want to come on the show and get a minute to do stand-up comedy. And it's very interesting to watch because after they do the minute of comedy, Tony on Kill Tony and the rest of the co-hosts, they'll kind of interview and roast the comedian who just went up and did their minute. It's very, it's definitely not PG rated. It's not really PG-13. Lots of language and, stand-up comedy, a lot of people might find it offensive. So if you're squeamish or whatever, I don't recommend it for you. But if you got an open mind and you like comedy and you like live shows, it's recorded live. So they recorded it live and then they put it on YouTube. So if you like that kind of thing and it sounds interesting, I recommend it. I've been watching it a lot lately. It's very interesting and it's got me inspired to maybe someday try some stand-up comedy of my own. I think I could try an open mic. I realize it's actually really hard to think of a joke and write a joke. So, that's something that I would have to think about. But it does have me inspired to try an open mic night. And actually, the other day, I wrote my first stand-up joke that I would like to try. I know stand-up it seems like a hard thing, and writing jokes seems like a hard thing. So I wrote a joke, and I tried telling it to my friend the other day. I tried telling him this joke, but I shit my pants. But that's kind of funny, though, right? That's self-defecating humor. All right, that's my first stand-up joke. There might be more in the future for everybody, but I'm glad everybody thought that was hilarious. Erin Marvin Show, episode 7. Thank you all so much for checking it out. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Like, subscribe, comment. If you don't like it, hit that like button twice. There's probably some stuff that I wanted to cover today that I forgot about, but I'm sorry. Yeah, that's about all I got for you. We actually ran long today. Holy cow, we're sitting at almost 40 minutes today. So you got a little bonus extra content for me for not posting for a week. Weeks and weeks, actually. So, yeah, we'll see when the next episode comes out. I'm trying to be consistent, but I'm also learning that don't tell people what you're going to do. Just do it. Because if you tell people what you're going to do and you don't do it, then you lose credibility. And then they wonder, why aren't you posting? So I started out saying I was going to do this once a week. And then it turned into every other week. And now it's once a month. So I'm still going to try to be consistent, but I'm just not going to make any promises anymore, people. But I really greatly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate everybody tuning in. It means a lot to me. We're going to keep going. I'm having a lot of fun with this. And yeah, if you got any ideas for me, send me an email, leave a comment. We'll be back next week with a new top 5. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for checking out the Erin Marvin Show. Tell a friend about it. And we'll see you on episode 8. Thanks for checking it out, everybody.